Hello, 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 hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining. Happy Friday. Happy new week. Listen, we made it through another week. I have a good conversation to talk about today. It's a little different than what we usually do around here. If you have seen my community post or my LinkedIn post, or if you follow me personally on Facebook, you know that I was recently awarded a top woman in Colorado. Can y'all see that? Maybe, I don't know. Wait, is that better? There. Yes. Top woman in Colorado. Okay. And let's be clear. That is a big, big, big deal. And I'm super excited about it. And thank you to all of you that took the time on my community post on my YouTube channel to congratulate me. Because let's be clear, if it weren't for this YouTube channel, and we're going to get into it. Like, I'm giving too many spoiler alerts. Okay. Let's just do the welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Thanks for joining. Come on, gather in, gather around. We're going to have a great conversation. We're going to be talking about what this award right here, we're going to be talking about what this award means to you. So welcome back to another episode of Nick at Noon. My name is Nick Scott. I'm the founder and CEO of Her Income Edit. We're an online education platform designed to help women turn their existing skills into coaching, income, digital products, and online businesses so they can earn more, depend less on traditional employment, and design a life on their terms. If you haven't already, even though this is going to be more of a casual kind of conversation, there still might be some gems that are going to be dropped that you might want to write down. So if you haven't already, go get your notebook and your pen or whatever it is that you take notes on. Pop a notes app open on your phone or your tablet. Share the link to this video in the group chat. Share the link to this video with a friend who keeps saying that she wants to do something for herself, or someone that you want to encourage to do something for herself. And if you've been here for a while, we've been doing these Nick at Noons now for almost 6 months, okay? Live on YouTube every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Mountain Time. So if you've been rocking me for a while, you already know how I typically show up on this particular space and on this channel as a whole. You know, I keep it strategic. Most of what I teach, but most of what I do on this channel is I teach. I teach frameworks. I teach about offers. I talk about positioning, and I talk about income. That's really what I do on this channel. I rarely get personal. And if you've been around here for a long time, I'm talking about, I started this channel in 2009. If you've been here since then, you know that's vastly different than what I used to do, right? Like back in the day, I was very personal. Like, some of y'all literally watched my children grow up on this YouTube channel. As a matter of fact, this is tangential. Let's just call Fridays, we're just going to start calling them Tangent Fridays, because that's what that's what I do. As a matter of fact, I feel like it was 2 years ago. It was before my oldest graduated from college, and both of my girls went to the same college. They went to the Grambling State University. Hello, I see you, Gram fam out there. Gram fam in the building, let me know. They went to the same school, and they were both on campus at the same time. And I feel like my oldest was a senior, and my youngest may have been a sophomore. Well, whatever the case may be. There was a young lady on campus who had a class with my youngest daughter. And my daughter would tell me, she's like, there's this girl in class, and she keeps staring at me, and I don't know, I don't really know who she is. Well, the girl walks up to both of them. They're in the caf together. She walks up to both of them, and she was like, are you Ladybug and Butterfly? And it was crazy because by that time I had stopped posting on this channel. You know, y'all know this channel went dormant, and I'm just now reviving this channel and breathing life back into this channel this year in 2026. In fact, I posted the first video again on this channel, like consistent video, was February 15th, 2026. And we haven't looked back, baby, have we? But it was crazy because y'all have literally watched my kids grow up on this channel, right? Well, you knew my husband, you knew our story. We went, you know, so for me to not really open the curtain as much as I used to, it's very different from some of you who have been rocking with me for a while, right? So I'm going to pull back the curtain just a little bit in this conversation. And like I said, if you have been here since February 15th, 2026, up until this point today, which is August 7th, 2026, if you have been rocking with me since then, you know that what this conversation is about to be is going to be completely different, because we're not going to really be talking about strategy. We're not going to be talking about frameworks and offers and positioning. Because, I mean, the truth, let me be clear. The reason why I kind of scaled back from that is because my purpose is so clear. I am so clear on what I am supposed to be doing and what I'm supposed to be using my platforms for. I'm here for the strategy. I am here to help women. I am here to talk about frameworks. I am here to ensure that you do the things like I just said a few minutes ago, that you know how to turn your existing skills into coaching, income, digital products, and online businesses so that, okay, so that you can stop depending less upon traditional employment, so that you can start to design a life for that you dream about, right? So I'm so clear on my focus and my purpose, and I'm an Aquarius, okay, for better or for worse, but we're good at that, right? Like, we are good at zeroing in on something and trailblazing the mess out of that thing, okay? And so maybe Fridays will be the day that I get, I don't know, what do y'all think? But that's why I'm here, and that's why I don't really talk too much about, you know, what's going on personally. But I could not help but to share this with y'all, because if it wasn't for this channel, this would not be possible. It wouldn't be possible. That wouldn't be possible. So today is going to be a little different. And I'm going to be honest with you. I almost didn't even do this stream, you know, because I have my live stream topics planned out, okay, for the whole month. And this was not part of it. And I knew I was getting this award back in June. And I never once thought, you know, to bring it to my community the way that I have. In fact, I had one of my friends text me just this morning, and I'm going to read you what she said to me. There might be some redaction in here, okay? Just to be honest, depending upon but you're going to get the idea of what she said to me about this award. So she says, first, I am mad at you, in all caps, Y-O-U. How did I miss your award and the event? I would have loved to come. Congratulations and keep shining. Okay, all is forgotten, but please keep me informed. So I read that to say, and by the way, that was verbatim, to say that I wasn't even going to say anything about this award. I was just going to put it on my LinkedIn and go on about my business. But, you know, that's not what was on my spirit to do. I literally woke up this morning and decided that this is what we were going to talk about. So I almost didn't even do this live stream, because when something good happens, there is this cultural pressure to perform gratitude in a public way. And that's the other reason, you know, like, I got a text message again last night from a former colleague when it posted on LinkedIn. I'm going to read you what she said, because I'm reading you these messages because I feel like it gives context to why I'm keeping this channel so focused and so strategic. But she says, she said, okay, award winner, you didn't mention that today. Because I had just had lunch with her earlier yesterday, and then when the schedule published on my LinkedIn, she's like, she did not mention that, because there is this pressure. Like, what is private anymore? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a big deal, and I'm proud of it, and I'm honored, but also, why do I have to like broadcast it? So I almost didn't do this live stream. That's part of the reason. Because of all this public pressure to perform gratitude on all your social media platforms, right? Like, you're supposed to post, you're supposed to say these words, you're supposed to hit all the emotional notes, and then you're supposed to move on, right? And that's an option. And I completely understand why people do it. Listen, I used to teach personal branding for a good portion of my online coaching career. But listen, here's the thing. That's not what I want to do here. And that's why I'm doing this live. Yes, I posted it on my community tab, not so people could be like, oh, congratulations. And, you know, what I want to do is I want to take something that happened to me. Like, this happened to me. And this is something that feels so meaningful to me. And I want to make it useful for you. Okay? So this isn't about you coming in here saying congratulations, although I appreciate it. Thank you. But that's what this is about. This is something that happened to me, and it's genuinely meaningful for me and for my business, and for the phase and stage that I'm going to get to this later in this conversation, for the phase and stage that I am in this business. But I want to make this why this is useful to you. Because if I have this conversation the right way, this is going to be one of the most clarifying conversations that we have ever had on this channel. And we're doing it live. Okay? So if you haven't already, settle in. Get your water. I didn't even take a sip of my water before I got started. I got so excited. Go get your water, your juice, your coffee, your tea, your wine, your cocktail, whatever it is. Settle in, relax, turn me up, share the link with a friend, because we're going to get into it, because I really do believe that this conversation, it has the potential to shift something for you, regardless of where you are in your business building journey right now, okay? So here is what happened. Last week on July 30th, 2026, I was named one of Colorado. Well, it wasn't even last week. Last week was the award ceremony. The names came out actually in June. So it was a few weeks ago. I was named one of ColoradoBiz magazine's top women in Colorado. So there were 50 of us that were selected, and there were more than 110 nominations. The event was held last week on July 30th, right here in Denver, and I was in the room. Now, let's be clear. This is not the first award that I have received, okay? I have all my hardware back there. You can see right at the top how we go. Right there. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Right there. That is my 100,000 subscriber plaque from YouTube. It's literally a shadow box. Like, these cool little play buttons that they get now. YouTube, can I trade mine in and get one of them cute ones? Or can you just send me one? Like, what? And then this one right here, that is another award from the Colorado Women's Chamber of Commerce. And I've also been, this isn't my first award, okay? But this one is different. This one is different. So I was in the room. I was honored. I was pleased. And the thing about it is, I could have just shared the photos, which I did. I could have just written the caption and said thank you and let you know how grateful I am to all of you for rocking with me for as long as you have. because my YouTube analytics are telling me that the majority of the people that are consuming my content right now are current subscribers. So thank you. Thank you. Although we do want to broaden this community, please don't keep all of this to yourself. Please don't keep all this to yourself. I do have a goal of helping 30 women before the end of this year. Okay? So please don't keep this to yourself. If you find value in any of my videos, share them freely. Share them freely with your family, with your friends, with your colleagues, with your network, with your sorors, with your church family, with your Jack and Jill moms, all the people. Like let's get this thing spread like wildfire, okay? Because we're here to change. I'm here to change lives. My life has been changed and I want to change your life, okay? So thank you again. Like I said, all of that could have been an option. I could have just left it at that and not even done this live stream. But I wanted to do something different with this one. I want to use this moment to have a real conversation about what this external recognition means, right? I told you just a few minutes ago that I have spent a decent part of my journey as an online coach in the personal branding space. So, external recognition, it matters for your personal brand, but I want to talk about what it means, and not just for the business that received it, which is my business. So not just for her income edit, but I want to talk about you. I want to talk about my community. I want to talk to my community, my current community, and my new community members. The people who have been with me for years and years and years, almost 20 years, we've been doing this online. I also want to talk to the community members in my community that are new. I want to talk straight to you, because this community, you are the reason that this business exists. And we're here to serve you. Because when a platform that was built entirely for you and it gets recognized by the broader business community right here in the Mile High City, there are real implications for what you're building. Not just what I'm building, but for what you're building. For the credibility of the framework that you're going to be learning from. There's implications in that. There's implications for the story you're going to tell about how you got here. There's going to be implications for the permission that you have been waiting on. So here is exactly how we're going to spend our time here together. I am going to tell you my story, the full story, because this award right here, it only makes sense in context. And I think the context, it matters a lot. And so I'm going to take some time. I'm going to take my time and I'm going to tell you the story. I am going to talk about what this recognition means for the women who are watching this, who are still on the fence about their own streams of income. I'm going to walk you through Her Income Edit's mission and vision. I'm going to talk about what this company exists to do. And I'm going to talk about why I built it the way that I'm building it. Okay? I'm going to give you a complete tour of everything available to you at Her Income Edit right now today, because I want you to leave this conversation with a very clear next step. And I want you to understand, listen, by the end of this conversation, there is not going to be any excuse for you to not know what your next step is. Okay? Is that okay? Is it okay if I do those things in this conversation? Drop a number 1. Show me some love. Sometimes I feel like I'm talking to myself on this thing, but here's the thing. I also want to use this time to answer a question that my community has been asking me for months. And that question is, am I a startup? And what does this recognition mean for where Her Income Edit is going? Okay, so let's get into it. Wait, but before we do that, I already did it at the top of this episode, but I want to make sure that I do it again. I want to acknowledge the comments that have been coming in since I shared about this publicly. I'm talking about the messages that you have left on my YouTube channel, the kind words. I've gotten the I knew it text. I just read you 2 text messages from 2 of my friends. If you missed the live verbatim reading of that, I encourage you to go back on my YouTube channel and watch the replay of this. What I want to do right now, though, and I wasn't planning to do this, I want to just call out the names of the people who left messages as of right now, today, on the post. I see 23 thumbs up. Thank you to every single person who gave me a thumbs up on my community post. But I want to call you out. Naturally Kia, thank you so much. ADE 52286, thank you so much. Mom of 3 girls, thank you for taking the time to leave your comments. Mila's Musings, thank you so much. It's me, Mrs. Doe. Thank you so much for taking the time, all of you. Every single name that I just called, thank you so much for taking the time to leave your comments, your congratulatory comments on my post. Because like I said in my post, this one is for you too. This one is for you too. So yes, I definitely want to acknowledge the comments. I want to acknowledge all the texts. I want to acknowledge the phone calls. Because listen, I read all of it. I read all the things that come through here. And I am grateful for every single one of you. But I also know that the most valuable thing that I can do in this moment and with this moment isn't just to receive the congratulations, although I appreciate it. I love it. Thank you. But the most valuable thing that I can do is to show you what this right here, what this means to you and what you can do with it. Okay, so let's get to work. Let's get into it. Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for joining. So let me start with the part that most people watching this may or may not know. I have been building online businesses since 2008. I have been on the internet making money in some shape, fashion, or form since 2008. This is not my first rodeo. Her income edit is not the first time that I've done this. March 26th, when I got laid off, that wasn't the start. It was 2008 is when I started. I published my very first blog post on longhairdontcare.net. That's what it was. And I was building something before most people even knew what a social media strategy was. I was doing it online. Back then, it led into a social media consultant firm that I ran called Core Branding. And while I was under the umbrella of Core Branding, I managed campaigns. Again, through this YouTube channel, it made these things possible. I managed campaigns for Disney, Unilever, and Google. I was building a brand presence. I was driving content strategy. I was managing communities. And I was doing this at a time when content creator was not even a job title that anyone recognized. Influencer, it was not a word that anyone used in a marketing meeting. And there certainly were not, you couldn't even major in it for a college major. Like what? But here's the thing. I learned very early on in this journey that the skills that you build inside professional environments, they have massive value outside of them. I understood that intellectually when I started this channel. 2008. How old was I in 2008? Was I in my late 20s? I had to be. I think I was in my late 20s or early 30s, okay? And it took me a while to fully act on it though. And the other thing about my journey is because I started doing this in 2008, this is what led me into my professional career in marketing. My very first real job in marketing was because of what I was doing and what I had started back in 2008. And I got that first job in marketing in 2014. Okay? So after running my own thing, I made the pivot not once, but twice that a lot of high achieving women make. I went in-house, I went corporate. So the first time I went, I just said it was in 2014. And that was from 2014 to 2019. And again, during that time, I started building my coaching business. And in 2019, I went full time with that coaching business. And then I went back to a full-time job in 2022. So from 2019 to 2022, I had my own thing that I built with my own hands from the ground up. And coaching is it. Like this is my space. And I had all the different titles, you know what I'm saying? Like managing teams, leading, all the things. I did it all. I was checking every box. I was hitting every milestone while I was in both of these roles individually. I was getting the titles. I was getting the recognition that comes with those titles. Listen, at my last company, I grew that social media following from roughly $9,000 to over 40,000, from 9,000 followers to over 40,000 followers. I generated nearly 2 million organic impressions in 1 year for that company. I led a webinar campaign that produced a 7-figure incremental revenue, bottom line, cash in the bank for that employer. So on paper, I was doing great, right? But here's the deal. There was something in me at some point during this last stint. I just started getting uneasy. I don't really want to call it Sunday night dread because I didn't dread my job. I loved my job. But still, there was something in me that was like, girl, is this it? Like, I was juggling work. I was juggling life. I was juggling everyone else's expectations, which if you have spent any amount of time in a leadership role, when you are the leader and the sole owner of a particular area on your team, you know exactly what I mean by that. Because you always have to manage up. And I had a wonderful manager. My manager was great. My team was great. My job was great. My company was great. But you still have, you got to manage up. You got to manage across, right? And you have to manage the optics. And you also have to manage a calendar. And somewhere in the middle of all of that, I kept asking myself, what if I got back into coaching? What if I got back into coaching? What am I going to do? And I'm just going to be very honest. When I was thinking about, when I started getting restless in my job and I'm like, ugh, this isn't it. I got to do something else. I actually considered doing a lot of other things besides getting back into coaching. I wanted to do something that I like to do. I wanted to chase my passion. What I really enjoy doing, like in my spare time, I really like to bling. I like to bling. Like right there, those are all rhinestones. And so it's just very therapeutic to me. So I'm like, I have my Cricut right there. I have a heat press right behind me. So I'm like, oh, you know what? I can do an Etsy shop, right? I can do cards or, bling cards or, just something different. But baby, when I started calculating the hours that it takes, because if you have a Cricut machine, you know how slow these things are. When I started calculating how long it takes to come up with designs, to print them on the Cricut, and to sit and bling, because, it takes time. You put each individual stone on whatever it is one by one. Like it's not a bedazzling machine. They do have. We're not gonna get that tangential, okay? But I was like, by the time I calculate the time and the money that it takes, because I really wanted to bling tennis shoes. and do custom shoes. By the time I calculate all the time and the equipment and the supplies that go into this, I'm going to have to charge thousands of dollars. Like, I see people out here selling custom tennis shoes for just a few $100s, and I don't know how they're doing it. Like, I truly don't know how they're doing it. And I did. I went and I started an Instagram account. I did all the things that I do, all the things that you do when you get an idea about starting a business. And then I was like, and all these paintbrush, like, I was serious. Like, I was going to start an Etsy store and just start, doing things for friends. And I had a whole plan. No, I did not want to continue to trade time for money. So I considered doing other things before I came back to coaching. And the reason, let's keep it going. Okay. So I kept asking myself, what if I did something else? And that question didn't go away. And I did things, and I didn't even really start anything for real. But what I did start and what I started moving toward for real was her income edit. And I started moving toward it. And once I decided that that's what I was going to do, I was intentional about it. I was strategic about it. And I was doing all of that before I had to do it. Okay? Before I had to do it. So when was that? So I started moving towards her income edit after I decided I am not trading my time for money like that. And I will just create, things like that, my bling projects and my t-shirts and all the things that I do with my Cricut and the paintbrushes and all that. I'll just do that for fun in my spare time and for my family and my friends and give it away as gifts. Because also I didn't want to take the joy out of it either. Because I truly do like to do that. Like, I'm very creative and crafty. But anyway, and also, if you've been on my YouTube channel for a while, you know that about me, because I used to do DIY Thursdays every single Thursday. Every single Thursday, I used to do a different DIY, whether that was a craft, my sewing machine, whether it was a sewing project, it's over there. Whether it was a sewing project, whether it was a cooking recipe, DIY Thursdays were a hit with y'all. So I decided just to keep that for me. So once I did decide that her income edit was it was around this time last summer. It was a little bit before this time last summer. I'm like, okay, we're getting back into coaching. What is this going to look like? Because what I didn't want to do was go back down the personal branding route. And I knew that for a fact. And the thing is I'm still known as like a personal branding expert, which is fine because it is a big part of owning an online business. But the part that I'm really passionate about is getting women started in this and then helping them scale. And to me, the pouring into your personal brand is the scaling part of your business, right? So for me and my products, that is the next level in this, right? So very intentional, very, very, very thoughtful about what it was. And I started building it. I started, getting things lined up and laddered up to what I wanted it to be, how I wanted it to be. I had a whole exit plan in my mind, how I was going to leave my current job. I had a whole exit plan. I started selling digital products last year. And then in March 4th, 2026, I will never forget that date. I call it my rebirth date. On March 4th, 2026, that's when it happened. My role was eliminated. Now, I just want to take my time here because I know some of you have been through something similar. I know you've been through I know you may have been laid off. It was my first time being laid off. You may have been laid off more than once. And some of you might be watching this and you might be wondering if you're next. because a layoff, especially when you're at a senior level, or you're at a level where you're the one, it can feel like a lot of things at once. And especially at my age, like, it can feel like failure, even when it had nothing, mine didn't have anything to do with my performance. A layoff can feel like an identity crisis. And that's especially true if your title has been a core part of how you understand your own value. A layoff can feel like the floor is dropping out from underneath you. And that is especially true if the paycheck that was associated with the company that's laying you off, that was the only thing that was keeping everything else in your life stable. I get it. And I want to be very honest with you about this because I understand all of that. But here's what happened for me. March 4th, 2026, I sat right here in this office and I got on a call, still in my workout clothes because I was on the treadmill, when this random notification popped up with my then CEO and some member of HR that I didn't even know worked at the company. And we didn't even have that many employees. I was still in my workout clothes, and I sat right here and I had that conversation and I said thank you. And I mean, I think I caught them off guard because I was surprised, but I wasn't surprised because I had a sense that something was going to happen. I didn't know it was going to happen to me. I had a sense that something big was going to happen at the company. And so that's why I did start building her income edit while I was still working, because, I'm like, in my mind, I thought that I was going to have this runway and I had this exit plan and I was going to roll out the strategy that I had. But instead, what happened was I got laid off, and instead of scrambling, I activated, because I had already built the infrastructure for this company. I already had the framework because I had all this experience from coaching before. Like, I left my coaching company to go work for this other company, for somebody else's company. So I already had the framework. I already had this channel. It had, over 150,000 subscribers. I had an audience who trusted what I was building already. I already had past clients who know my work. I already had digital products in the market that were selling. And I had a plan. I just told you I had this plan. So I walked out of my role at that company in March, and I am now doing her income edit full time. And this isn't because the layoff didn't sting and doesn't still sting. It's because I had something already built that I could walk into before I needed it. Does that make sense? And that moment right there, that is the entire thesis of her income edit. And it was lived out in real time in my life. So you don't need to build your backup plan after you need it. Like, you don't go get insurance after you need it. You go get insurance before you need it. So, I teach my clients to start their businesses while they're still working. I teach my clients that their jobs are the first investors in their business. I teach my clients to do this while your income is still coming in, while you have time. You have the time, you have the margin, and you're able to do this thoughtfully, strategically, and well, the same way that I did, right? I told you I considered all types of things. I think I might have told y'all here on an episode of Nick at Noon, I considered selling my gumbo because I am the gumbo queen. Yes, I am. You can't out gumbo pot. I don't care. I know somebody's out there like, no, it ain't better than mine. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So I considered all kinds of things. But because I had a full-time job, I was able to be thoughtful and strategic about this. And I was able to do it well. And you have that opportunity too. And her income edit is born out of that precise conviction, that belief right there. This exists because I know personally, I know this personally. This is not theory, this is fact. I know what it feels like to have a career that looks successful on the outside while you are still wondering if there is something more. I know exactly what that feels like. Her income edit exists because I have watched the promise of corporate stability. I've watched it fail multiple times. And I didn't just watch it fail for me. I've watched it fail for colleagues that I respect. I've watched it fail for professionals that I had built somebody else's business alongside of. And her income edit exists because I spent over 15 years figuring out what actually works when it comes to translating everything you have built into a career and into income that you own. So when ColoradoBiz sat down to evaluate those 110 nominations that they received, and listen, these are women from the entire state of Colorado, not just Denver. They were looking at founders, executives, community leaders, healthcare executives, lawyers, finance, real estate, technology, all these different industries. And her income edit came out as one of the 50 honorees. Look, that has my name on it. Her income edit came out as one of the 50 honorees. They looked at executives, okay, from all industries, community leaders from all industries, finance, healthcare, law, real estate, technology, you name it. And her income edit came out as one of 50 honorees. That's just not my business getting recognized, y'all. That right there, that is a belief system that has gotten validated. It is the belief, this validation, it's the belief that professional women's skills are undervalued assets. Listen, I'm just the messenger. The belief that your career was never meant to be your only plan, that belief was validated. The belief that it's not too late for you, that belief was validated. The belief that this doesn't require you to start over from scratch, that belief was validated. The belief that you can build something that creates income safety completely on your terms. All of that, what I just said, that is what this is. That's what got recognized. Over 110 people they considered, and her income edit was recognized out of one of the 50 honorees. And I want to say one more thing about my layoff, because I think it is easy to sanitize this kind of story when you're in hindsight. You know, hindsight is 2020. It's easy to make it sound like I had it all figured out and the transition was smooth. Baby, it wasn't smooth. Nothing, I mean, how can it be smooth? The layoff came out of it was out the blue, but not out the blue, right? I had instinct and intuition, but whatever. Listen, I've been at this going hard. I said at the beginning, February 15th, 2026, first video drops on YouTube, and we haven't looked back. There have been some hard days. I am in the smack almost 40% of the way through of a 100-day video sprint. That is, I'm posting one long form video on my YouTube channel every single day. There are some hard days. There are moments of uncertainty about whether what I'm building is going to work the way that I believe it is going to. But here's the thing, the infrastructure that I built before March 4th, 2026, before that day gave me something that's hard to describe until you have it. And that is the ability to make decisions from strategy instead of fear. The infrastructure that I had built before I got laid off, it gave me the ability to make decisions from a place of strategy instead of fear. It gave me a space where I already had my next stream of income already in motion. And it didn't replace my salary, let's be clear. It was small. It was just a few digital products that we're selling here and there. Right? But when you have another income stream in motion already, the conversation you have with yourself after a job loss is completely different. The math is different. The options are different. The timeline is different. And let me tell you something, that is not a luxury. That is a decision that you can make before you need it. The same way that I did. I've done it multiple times. Now, let me give you some context about the award this award, okay? Just some context about the award, some context about who ColoradoBiz is, and I want to talk about why this award matters. So, okay? So just a little bit of history about ColoradoBiz magazine. It has been covering the entire state of Colorado since 1973. That is over 50 years as one of the most credible business publications in this entire centennial state. So they cover companies, they cover executives, and they cover leaders across every major industry. Again, finance, healthcare, technology, education, law, real estate, nonprofit, you name it, okay? Beans, greens, collard greens, you name it. Every year, they run the Top Women in Colorado program. And this year, again, I just can't, it blows my mind. Over 110 women were nominated. More than 110 women were nominated. 50 of those women were selected as honorees. And the honorees were selected based on 4 things: professional accomplishments, leadership, mentorship, and contributions to Colorado's business community. So it's not just about revenue numbers, okay? It's not about how big or small your company is. It's not even about how long your company has been in operation. Professional accomplishments, leadership, mentorship, and community contribution. Those are the 4 categories. And I want you to think about those 4 criteria for just a moment because they matter. Her income edit is built on exactly those 4 things. The accomplishments that come from building income from skills that are real and hard won. The leadership of showing up week after week to teach women what they were not taught anywhere else. The mentorship that happens inside of Ignite and inside of my trainings, inside of every piece of content that gives a woman the language to describe what she's been feeling, that happens inside of my one-on-one coaching. And the community contribution of building a platform that serves professional women across this centennial state and around the world. Those 4 criteria are exactly who we are. Listen, professional accomplishments, leadership, mentorship, and community contribution. That is who we are. But this is the part that I really want you to hear. The honorees this year, they came from finance, they came from healthcare, technology, education, law, and real estate. They included founders and C-suite executives and community leaders and women who have been running organizations for decades. And a coaching and online education platform for women, a company whose entire premise is that your skills have market value beyond what any employer has ever been willing to pay for them? Baby, we were in the room. We were in the room and we were recognized. And here's the thing, a lot of you are still carrying a quiet belief that coaching is not a real business. Some of y'all think this isn't real. Some of y'all think it's a scam. Some of y'all think that it's not for you, that what you know is not valuable enough to put a price tag on. Some of y'all are still believing that a stream of income that is built on skills and expertise, it sounds good in theory, but it isn't the kind of thing that gets taken seriously in serious business conversation. Guess what? This right here, that says otherwise. The income stream that you have been putting off belongs in that conversation. The offer that you have been too scared to price, it belongs in that conversation. The client that you haven't pitched yet because you're still not sure if what you know is enough, it belongs in real business conversations. And I'm not saying this to motivate you, although you might be motivated. I'm saying this to inform you. There is a panel of business leaders who looked at the work that I'm doing in its entirety, and they said, yes, what Nick Scott is doing at and with Her Income Edit, this is real. And yes, what Nick Scott is doing with Her Income Edit, it belongs here. Did you hear the history that I just gave about this magazine across the whole state of Colorado? This counts. And if ColoradoBiz magazine can see it, I need you to start seeing it too. I need you to start seeing it too. Now hello. Thanks for joining. Let me take this a step further because I think there's something here that is worth saying to all of y'all who might be skeptical. I'm talking about the ones of y'all who are watching and you're thinking, well, that's great for Nick, but I don't know if my thing would count in this. The women who received this recognition alongside me this year, they came from industries that the business community has always taken seriously. And I'm going to say them again: finance, healthcare, law, real estate, and technology, right? Her Income Edit is a coaching and digital education platform that is built by a Black woman who founded it. Matter of fact, Tangential Friday. As a matter of fact, I was the only Black woman who received an award. And you can't tell me there's no other Black women in the state of Colorado who aren't doing something. Let me say that part again because I don't want y'all to miss it. The other women, the other 49 women who won this award, they came from industries that the business community has always taken seriously. Finance, healthcare, law, real estate, technology, you name it. Her Income Edit is a coaching and digital education business that is built by, a Black woman who founded it. We are a company whose primary product is the argument that other women's knowledge has value. My company is not backed by venture capital. My company is not a household name yet. Her Income Edit, but for all intents and purposes, even though I've been building since 2008, and even though I had my stint in, online coaching from 2019 to 2022, Her Income Edit is a relatively young company doing exactly what it says it does, right? And I was in that room. And what that tells me, and what I want this to tell you, is that the gatekeepers of professional recognition are paying attention to a different kind of leadership than it used to. Things are changing. They're looking at impact. They're looking at mentorship. They're looking at community. They're looking at the specific value that a business creates for the people it serves. That's the kind of value that coaching creates, y'all. That's the kind of value that you can create. You don't have to run a traditional company to build something worth recognizing. You have to build something real. You have to build something consistent. You have to build something that truly helps the people that you're meant to serve. And that is exactly what the women inside this community are doing. And this recognition is part of what makes that visible. This isn't about me. This is about you too. And I want to talk about what specifically changes when her income edit gets recognized publicly like this, because this isn't just abstract. The first thing that this changes is the framework that you are learning from. It has been publicly validated. They literally said in my bio, my framework, she teaches from the safety method. Everything we teach at Her Income Edit is built on the safety method. And that is my proprietary framework for building a coaching business from the skills that you already have. And it runs through every single product. It runs through every single piece of content. It runs through every single coaching conversation that we have inside of Ignite. Okay? I'm not going to walk you through this method now. If you want to go see the safety method, you can go on my website, herincomeedit.com, and you can see it. Okay? But the method, the safety method, that right there got externally recognized in the room. And so what that means is you're not learning from someone who's guessing at this. You are learning from a framework that has been validated in the marketplace. So the second thing that changes is that the community that you're a part of, it is growing. This is a growing community, and that directly benefits you. So when Her Income Edit gets visibility, more women find it. More women from more industries, from more professional backgrounds, from more diversified seasons of life. And as this community grows, so does the proof that this works for everyone, not just a narrow slice of quote unquote who coaching is for. Her Income Edit is not just for one kind of professional woman. Okay? We are here for teachers who spent 20 years in the classroom and know exactly how to reach people who are resistant, who are disengaged, who have been told the thing that they're learning doesn't matter. Her Income Edit is for the nurse who has navigated the healthcare system from the inside, who has watched patients get lost in bureaucracy, who has helped families make impossible decisions, who has developed a kind of clinical and emotional intelligence that most people never even get close to. Her Income Edit is for the nonprofit director who has built a career building community impact from limited resources and with limited support. Listen, Her Income Edit is for the HR professional. It's for the government employee. Listen, all of y'all belong here. All of you. And as this community continues to grow, the evidence that this works across every industry and every starting point, it grows with it. And the third thing that changes is this. You are building alongside a platform that is being held to a real standard. Her Income Edit operates under Scott Media LLC. I have a master's in business administration. I have been building online businesses since 2008. I have founded a nonprofit that has served over 4,000 women. I have corporate marketing credentials. I've been awarded for my work by multiple different organizations. So when you invest in anything here, whether that is a free download to my signature program, Ignite, you're engaging with something that is built with intention. You're engaging with something that is tested against real results. You're investing in something and you're engaging in something that is recognized by the broader business community. And the last thing, and this one matters, and I want to say this very, very clearly. The platforms and the programs that you are learning from, they're part of your credibility story. So when you're talking to a potential client about the coaching business that you're building, when you talk about who you learned it from, when you talk about what frameworks you have worked inside of, when you talk about the community that you're a part of, that's all a part of the signal that you send about how seriously you're taking this work. The bottom line in this part, who you learn from matters. And that is no tea, no shade to any of these other coaches out here. But who you learn from matters. What you're building, it matters. So at the beginning of the episode, I said that I wanted to talk about the mission of Her Income Edit, and I would just want to take some time to do that. Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for joining. So the mission of Her Income Edit is to help professional women across every industry transform their existing skills into sustainable coaching income without requiring additional certifications, without starting from scratch, and without building a business that runs their life. And you want to, and that part is not a throwaway line. Like that last part, that's real. We are explicitly anti-hustle. I tell you all the time, we are not hustling every day. We are not grinding all our life. And I want to explain what that means in practice because it is a meaningful distinction. Because a lot of online business content that you consume, it is built around the idea that if you just work harder, stay up later, and do more, eventually all of this is going to pay off. And here is something, there is something that is very seductive about that, right? Because it gives you the illusion of control. If I just grind hard enough, I can outwork my way to success. But I have watched that model break women all the way down. And I have lived versions of that myself. So Her Income Edit is built on an entirely different belief. When I came back into this, I knew exactly what I wanted it to do. The belief is that a coaching business, when it is constructed with strategy and when it is constructed to be sustainable, your business can be profitable without requiring you to sacrifice everything else that matters to you. A 20 to 30 hour work week is completely reasonable. That is a reasonable foundation for a coaching business that is built on real know-how, when it is priced correctly and when it is positioned well. We believe that income doesn't have to be earned through exhaustion. We believe a woman with genuine experience doesn't have to hustle her way to credibility because you already have it. You already have it. You just need the structure to deploy it. My vision is bigger than coaching. My vision is so much bigger than coaching. My vision is a world where no woman has to stay somewhere that has stopped serving her because she can't afford to leave. My vision is a world where financial safety doesn't depend on one organization's decision to keep you employed. My vision is a world where the knowledge that you have, that you've accumulated over your entire life, it becomes an asset that you own. It becomes something that appreciates with you. It's something that can't be restructured away. It's something that gives you options before the options become urgent. So the Her Income Edit brand belief has exactly 4 sentences. And I'm going to take my time here because each one of these sentences matters. The very first sentence is, a successful career is valuable. Brand belief number 1. Brand belief number 2, dependence on a single employer is not valuable. Brand belief number 3, your greatest financial asset is not your job. Brand belief number 4, your greatest financial asset is everything that you have learned while doing your job. That right there is the foundation. That is what this platform is built on. And when ColoradoBiz recognized Her Income Edit, they recognized that foundation. They recognize the argument I have been making, and that is professional women's know-how is an underutilized and undercompensated asset. ColoradoBiz magazine, they recognize that as a legitimate business premise. Period. Period. Thank you. I see the love. So, is Her Income Edit a startup? Yes, and yes, and also it's more complicated than that. So, I launched Her Income Edit full-time, part-time in 2025, but I launched Her Income Edit full-time in 2026. And in the most straightforward sense of the word, yes, we are early stage because I launched full-time in 2026. And we're building the product suite. We are dialing in our funnel. We are refining what works and scaling what is proven to work. We are in a season of proving and building. We're doing this at the same time, okay? But I'm not a first-time founder. I am not figuring out what works from zero. I have 18 years as of the recording of this conversation. 18 years of experience building online businesses. I have corporate marketing credentials that include taking social media audiences from growing them just exponentially, okay? All the things, just building audiences. I have a master's in business administration. I founded a nonprofit. I built a YouTube channel from zero to, at its peak, it was close to 200,000 subscribers. And that was before Her Income Edit was ever a full-time business. So yes, Her Income Edit is early stage, but baby, I ain't new to this, I'm true to this. And that combination right there is rare in this space. Find me another coach like me. It's meaningful. Like, it's meaningful, not just for me, but for you. A lot of coaching businesses are run by people who are learning the craft while they're teaching it. And there's nothing wrong with that because we all start somewhere. But there's a meaningful difference between learning the business and building it from an already proven foundation. So being recognized as a top woman in Colorado, as an early stage founder, not a 20-year CEO, not a Fortune 500 executive, listen, that says something extremely important. And that means you don't have to be established to be worth recognizing. You have to be doing real work in the right direction and with real impact. So what comes next? What's after this? We have Ignite cohorts launching this fall, okay? The next cohort starts in September, and the last cohort of the year starts in October. All right? So every single cohort in Ignite, I just don't come up with a number. It's intentional. And I will never, let me not say never. I don't see myself running hundreds of women through this program at one time. Like I don't see myself having 100 people in a cohort at one time, because that's not what this is. Because I have designed the size of Ignite so that I can be present with every woman inside of it, as present as she wants me to be. Because I want to deliver real coaching, real feedback, and real support. You will never, I've been in these programs. I have, when I say I have made all the mistakes so you don't have to, it's real. Like I have been in the programs where I was just a number, where I felt like I'm screaming from the rooftops to get any attention, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I didn't feel valuable, and I paid a premium. I had paid tens of thousands of dollars for coaching programs. Tens of thousands of dollars for coaching programs. And I didn't like it, and I don't want my business like that. I don't want you out in these streets talking about me behind my back. Okay? So again, we have 2 more cohorts this fall, September and October. I deliver a premium product, and I take very seriously about my premium experience that I deliver, okay? And as Her Income Edit's visibility grows, and as the community grows, the demand for Ignite is going to increase. It's going to increase. So the women who get in this fall, they're getting in at the ground level of a program that's going to compound over time. And as the alumni network builds, as the case studies start to stack, as the social proof accumulates, the experience inside Ignite, it's going to get more rich for everybody else. So getting into Ignite this year, remember I said earlier, I want to help 30 women. That is my mission. That is my goal. I want to help 30 women this year. So by October, I want to have had 30 women. So getting into Ignite this year, it means being part of the founding cohorts. It means being part of the founding cohorts of something that is going to look very different a year from now. Beyond that, this recognition, this one right here, it opens doors. Speaking opportunities, media coverage, partnerships with organizations that serve the same women that we serve. Every door that opens is another way this message reaches women who have not yet found Her Income Edit. I'm talking about women who have been sitting on their skills, who are waiting for evidence that this works. They're waiting to see someone who looks like them doing this successfully. That is the roadmap. And we are just getting started. So we have been at this for a little over an hour now. But I want to make sure that no one watching this live stream leaves without knowing exactly how to get started, because if you've been watching any of my content for a while and you haven't taken the next step, I want today to change that. I want to change that right now. Because the most important thing that I can tell you is this. Go to herincomeedit.com. Herincomeedit.com. Go to herincomeedit.com. Everything we have is there. And there's a whole lot more than people realize. Okay? We have this YouTube channel. This is where you are. And if you're new, hello. Thanks for joining. I want you to go back through the library. I want you to go back and watch old videos of Nick at Noon. I want you to get into my playlists. Start with my coaching journey. Watch videos, okay? Get acquainted with who I am. Get acquainted with how I teach. Get acquainted with the frameworks. Get acquainted with the community. This channel is built as a teaching resource. So every video is designed to move you from a place of knowing you have the valuable skills to actually understanding how to turn those skills into income. I'm not posting motivational content, although you might be motivated, but my content is strategic. The teaching that I do, that is the value. And everything on this channel is completely free for now. For now. If you're more of a reader, I have a blog. It's at herincomeedit.com, and it is updated every single day. Every post, it is built around the same strategic foundation that your skills have a market and you can access it. You can access that market, and here's what this looks like in practice. So daily content means there is always something new on my blog. It is something timely. It is something relevant for where you are right now. And we have free resources. We have several. We have 101 coaching ideas, and that is 101 specific coaching niches, and each one is described in plain language so you can read through the list and recognize yourself in it. So if you're ever asking, but what would I even coach on? This is the place for you to start, because it takes that question completely off the table. And 101 coaching ideas is the most downloaded resource that we have. And the women who download it, they consistently tell me that it's finally the thing that made them see this very clearly. We also have the skills to edit or skills to income email course. And that is a structured, self-paced experience, and it's delivered right to your email box. It walks you through the foundations of building income from your skills on your timeline at your pace with no pressure to be in a live session, right? So if you want to move on your own time, check out the skills to income email course. We also have subscriber to sale in 7 days. And this one is for the woman who already has an audience, or you're starting to build an audience. And if this is where you are, but you also want to understand how to convert that audience and that attention into income, this one's for you. So if you've been growing followers and you're watching that number, grow, and you're not seeing any revenue with the audience growth, this resource is going to help you close that gap. And then this is my favorite one. I have a free live training every single Tuesday at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. And I want to be clear about what it is. It is a real teaching session. It's not a teaser. It's not a teaser. I walk you through the entire full framework every single week, how to identify what you can sell. I talk about why coaching is such a viable first income stream for women just like you. And I also teach what most women get wrong when they try to start. I do it every week because the question, where do I start? It deserves a real substantial answer. It doesn't deserve a wait list, right? So if you're ready to invest at the entry level, it's $2K in 2 hours. And I currently sell it for $24. And I say currently intentionally, but $2K in 2 hours, it walks you through how to generate your first $2,000. It teaches you how to build your first $2,000 coaching offer in 2 focused hours of work. And you do this from scratch using the skills you already have. And this is not inspiration, it's operation here, okay? It is a process that you can follow. It is a process you can repeat. It is a process you can build from. And then we have Ignite. Ignite is our flagship program. And it is the one that I want to help 30 women in by the end of this year. And I can do that with your help. It is a 12-week group coaching program. It is the container where we work through the entire safety method together. And you do it with me. So it's real coaching, it's real feedback, it's real connections within the course. So you're not figuring this out alone. You're not watching pre-recorded videos and then you hope that it translates into something. Okay? 2 more cohorts for this year, September and October. I would love to see you in one of those cohorts. But here's the thing. Ignite is not for the woman who is still deciding whether she wants to do this. I just went over the free resources, 101 coaching ideas, the email course. You can also even invest in the $24 micro course. Those are all perfect for you if you're still in the decision season. Because Ignite is for the woman who has made the decision and she wants a proven structure to execute inside of, okay? All the details for Ignite, of course, are at herincomeedit.com. Go to my website. You can learn about all of the things that I just talked about. So here's what's available to you right now through Her Income Edit. This YouTube channel. I have a blog, 101 coaching ideas. You have a skills to income email course. There's a subscriber to sale in 7 days for folks that have an audience. We have a weekly live training every Tuesday. We have our entry level product, 2K in 2 hours, and we have our flagship product, which is Ignite. 12 weeks, 2 more cohorts for this fall, and you can find out about all of this at herincomeedit.com. So I want you to go look at what's there. I want you to figure out where you are, and I want you to start. And I want you to start where it makes sense for you, okay? So I have been making the same argument since I started building Her Income Edit. And really, if I'm honest, I've been making the same argument before that. And that argument is this. Women in this country are sitting on a level of know-how that the market wants. You have spent years developing this know-how, and you've been chronically undercompensated for this know-how. And the way the workforce is structured right now, the way that these layoffs are happening, the way that these return to office mandates are rolling back the flexibility that took years for you to earn, the way that these pay disparities are set up and they persist at every single level of every industry. I'm talking about the career ceilings that are not always visible until you run right into it. All of that. That means that depending on one single employer for 100% of your financial safety, it is a risk. It is not a distant risk. It is a present risk. Your salary is not safety. If someone else's decision that you're choosing to depend on, that's what a salary is. It is someone else's decision that you're choosing to depend on. And I'm not saying that to create fear. I'm saying it because there is an alternative. And most women don't realize that they're already sitting on everything that they need to take that alternative. That is the mission. That is the belief system underneath everything Her Income Edit exists to do. And when ColoradoBiz magazine sat down with more than 100 nominations and selected 50 honorees, and one of them was a coaching and education platform built entirely on that belief, something in that got confirmed. It got validated, not just for me, but for you too. This work is real. My framework works. Women's skills have a market, and this platform exists to help you access it. So if you're still deciding whether or not to start, there is no perfect moment. There is only a decision. And the women who are building successful coaching businesses right now, they didn't wait until they felt completely ready. They made a decision and then they built readiness along the way. And if you've started building your coaching business, but you feel stuck, the resources are here. The community is here. Ignite is here. You don't have to do this alone. You're not supposed to figure this out without support. I didn't. You just heard me say I've spent tens of thousands of dollars on coaches. You're not supposed to figure this out alone. If you're further along, listen, the recognition that Her Income Edit just received is part of your story too. Because you're building something that belongs in a legitimate conversation about income, about business, and about what women are really capable of. And if you are brand new here, welcome. This YouTube channel is free for now. The blog is free for always, and it's updated every day right now. I have several free resources that are designed to meet you wherever you are. So you can start there. You can find what resonates with you. You can come on Tuesday for my live training. And when you're ready to go deeper, the path is clear. Everything is at herincomeedit.com. I'm going to be very clear. This award is meaningful to me. And not just because of what it says on paper, but because of what it says about the women that I am building this for. Every woman who has ever watched a video, every woman who has ever shared my content, every woman who has ever downloaded a resource, every woman who has joined a training, every woman who has enrolled in 2K in 2 hours or Ignite, every woman who has shared this channel with anyone who is struggling, this right here is yours too. We're building something real here. And I am just getting started, y'all. I am just getting started. And I want to take a moment to say something to the women who have been here from the beginning. If you subscribed early, when this channel was smaller, if you shared a video with a friend before there was much social proof even attached to it, if you were subscribed a long time ago and you're still here and you weren't some of those 3,000 people now who have unsubscribed since I started publishing this new content, if you're still here, you helped build this. You helped build the community that is making Her Income Edit worth recognizing, because it is made up of women exactly like you, women who saw something worth paying attention to before the external validation arrived. And that means everything, y'all. Recognition doesn't create credibility, it confirms it. And the credibility of this platform, it was built and it is being built by one video, one download, one training, one coaching session at a time with your help and with your participation. So when I say that this award belongs to you too, I mean it. And it is not as a figure of speech. We did this, y'all. If you have shared this channel, you're part of this. If you come back day after day, you are part of this. If you sat in my free training, you are part of this. If you dropped a comment in the chat on my community post, if you sent me a message, you're part of this. If you took the 2K in 2 hours micro course, if you applied to Ignite, you are part of this. And I want you to know, as Her Income Edit continues to grow, as the doors that this recognition is going to open and as it leads to new opportunities and new reach, I want you to know I see you because you're here first. You're an early believer and you don't know how much that means to me. Okay? I'll see y'all in the next one. Happy Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. Congratulations to you too on this. And yeah, thanks so much for joining. I appreciate each and every one of you forever and ever and ever. And yeah, have a good weekend. My name is Nick Scott. This has been another episode of Nick at Noon. I am here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Mountain Time. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.